Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Earth Mac, the mad scientist, and this is my first guest of the year. And with the first guest of the year, I wanted to make it a little special and do something a little bit different. And this is going to be a interview and live art session. So you get to see art in real time being drawn by a well-known artist, and I met her at an amazement last week. I would say maybe a couple weekends ago, a lot Memorial Day weekend, and we wrapped the tapes. And I love her artwork, and I just wanted to see her draw in real time, and just to pick her brain a little bit. And her name is Mikayla, or Mickey. How are you today, Mickey?
Sir, I am well. I'm here. I'm ready to draw.
Uh-huh.
The brain is primed for picking. So
Okay.
let's
Prime
do
for
it.
picking. This just opened up. Okay. Okay. So before you start drawing, just like let people know, where you're from and where people can actually follow you and ask for commission.
Got you. So, in order, hello, my name is Mikayla. I am an artist based out of the 757 region of Virginia. I was born in Portsmouth. Have lived in the majority of the area of the seven cities, and now I reside in Virginia Beach. So I mostly do my convention traveling from there and just try to go up and down the East Coast as much as possible. I will finally be making my Texas debut at the end of this month at Etchy Expo in Dallas. It's going to be
Okay.
18 plus convention for anyone who might be in that area. There will be appropriate content available for sale at that show. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter under the name MKYNART under same handle on both platforms. The Instagram is a little bit more curated, and the Twitter is just all the nonsense that somehow finds its way out of here.
All right. And she's gonna surprise us with some drawings. So I'm not even gonna ask her what she's drawing. She's just gonna go out there and do her thing. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this up. And that is her Instagram handle for those of you that was curious about that. So, Mikayla, question. So, when did you start drawing? Like, when did you figure out this is a passion of yours and you just couldn't stop?
So I started drawing for real when I was like, however old you are in third grade. So I don't remember the exact age I was, but I just remember the teachers that were super supportive of my work and my mom who was super supportive of me drawing, because every kid draws.
Yeah.
But whether or not that's nurtured is a big thing for a lot of kids. So for me, thankfully, it was nurtured a lot. I used to draw just like scenes from SpongeBob and little mini Superman comics, but then I started doing my own original comics with those superheroes, and they got a good kick. Got a good kick out of my mom one time when I drew Firestar burning the Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was not graphic by any means, but it was just a funny situation that it was in, and it just made my mom laugh really hard. So I was like, okay, I think I want to keep doing.
Yeah. Like, once you get mom's approval, you be like, maybe I got something here.
That was it, exactly. My mom always says, she's like, I'm the only one that she knows that ended up knowing what I wanted to do and then actively going for it. And I'm like, well, you supported me in doing that. Not a lot of people have that. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah, so this is more than just like, finger painting on the refrigerator door or, putting that up there. And so, you as a young kid, I think that's where it kind of like set off the fireworks in your head. Like, oh, she's really entertained by this. This is not regular artwork for me.
Right.
So, so you mentioned drawing your own comics. Like, do you still do that now?
I do it now. Not as, okay, I'll put it like this. Comic creation as a child was so much fun compared to how it is now.
Yeah.
For me, it's so much more work because they now have to look good. That's the thing. They now it's going to be out for a bigger audience to see outside of family and loved ones and things.
Yeah.
So other people have to like it too, and keeping that in mind is just a little bit more stressful.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love doing it. It's just the tediousness of comics sometimes gets to me. Like it's a lot of drawing the same thing over and over again.
So, what would you say is the most difficult thing to draw for you? Because I think it varies from artist to artist. Like some people say, drawing feet or hands is difficult, or drawing like backgrounds is a little difficult, too tedious. So, what would be the most difficult for you, or challenging for you, as far as drawing is concerned?
Definitely backgrounds.
Definitely backgrounds.
Definitely backgrounds. So my thing is, I don't have great depth perception. I'm not too sure what that stems from, and I don't have the time to get it looked into, quite frankly. So driving can be a little difficult for me, but also sense of space, mostly because of the sense of space. Like it's not there.
Okay.
A lot of the time, everything can look very flat. So I know the rules. I know what you're supposed to do to create assumed like imaginary perspective. I know like the line points and everything like that, but my brain just cannot comprehend it.
Gotcha.
So no backgrounds, the better. And the thing is about making comics, a lot of the time, setting is very important.
Yes.
And being able to see where your characters are and seeing how grand these, what do you call them? These buildings and these statues and just size comparison between like the amount of people who are in this area and stuff like that. That's very important.
Yeah.
So I recognize that. But if I could not draw it, that'd be really cool. But unfortunately, all my ideas are very grandiose and they take place in massive cities and they require so much of you to get right.
So when you started drawing, like as far as your challenges is concerned, like did you take classes or were you self-taught?
For the longest time, I was self-taught. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to draw anime characters.
Yeah.
For the longest time. And though my mom was incredibly supportive, I did not. So my parents got a divorce when I was in 5th grade. So I spent the majority of my time living with my dad. Not that dad wasn't supportive. It's just with what time did we have to really look into interests?
Yeah.
What time do we have to really foster interests? Because I have to work all day and you have to go to school. Outside of getting you the manga that you want to read, I can't really foster these interests. But mom was the one looking at anime clubs for me to join. She was the one looking for like, how do I go to school for this? Because they both wanted me to go to school.
Right.
And I was like, I don't mind going to school. It's just I don't want to do it for something I don't really care about.
Yeah.
Whatever. The American dream, right? So
yeah.
you go through, and she was looking into classes. She was looking into like school and stuff. Because in 2000, it was like the 2009 and 2010 Art Institute of Virginia Beach had opened up, not too far away from where I live now. And we were like, oh, that's perfect, an art school. Why not? Hindsight's 2020. It was a waste of my time, but it was fine. It ended up being okay because it made me pursue actively like learning about art as opposed to just drawing it and things looking cool.
Yeah.
Like actively trying to get better as opposed to I'm gonna draw what I want to draw and that's it. So
yeah, see, that's the thing, like with school and college, like we do in college encourage people to go to college or whatever, but go for something that you're passionate about versus something that be like, oh, you know what, this is gonna make me the most money. And then because you may end up not hating your job. So I always feel this way, like whenever I meet like artists, in the artist alley, I feel like, and I feel this way every time I walk through there, these are the most free-spirited people that I ever met. It's like they have worries and stuff, but like when they sketch or when they draw or they might do live drawings, it's like it's the escape. Like, do that feel that way for you?
Very much so. Yeah, I feel like despite the fact that drawing is now a job, it's
Hmm.
literally my second full-time job. So it's just like it can feel tedious, especially when you're drawing things that you don't actively want to.
Yeah.
I love commissions, I really do. But a lot of the time, and I'm getting better with this now. Getting
Hmm.
better with like actively being I can now now at a point where I can choose what I work on
Yeah.
and be able to send people to artists who I think would be a better fit. But sometimes it's like, oh, say for example, you commission me for a Kimberly piece. I wasn't
Hmm.
planning on doing a Kimberly piece until like way later in the year, but if you're going to pay me for it, of course, I'll do it sooner.
Yeah.
But because my brain was not thinking I was going to do Kimberly like now, it's a little bit harder to get to.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's the act of drawing is still fun for me. It's just the fact that I now that I get paid for it, now people have expectations, and now people want their stuff in a timely manner. It's just a bit more stressful in that way because it takes me longer to draw
Yeah.
because the quality has to be there. If someone's going to pay you real money, you got to give
Yeah.
them artwork. So that's the piece about it that's a little bit more difficult.
And you know what, for the listeners, I know some people like it's so critical, like, okay, well, why artists charge so much for this? I'm like, y'all have no idea how much art supplies are. Like, like how much it takes. It's just like it's not just the art piece, it's the time it takes for people to draw different things or draw the things that the way you want it, the right color and the right shape and everything else. Like do you get that critique sometimes as an artist, like, hey, this might be too much for a art piece, or do you see that in your everyday?
Um, More so since I've raised my prices.
Okay.
But well, that's not true. That's not true. Less so. It's about an equal half and half since raising prices.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you want to be busy and you want to always have something you're working on, yes, keep your prices lower. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. If you could pump out work like within a couple of hours and you don't mind having a bunch of people lined up waiting for stuff, because that's the truth. If your stuff is cheaper, people are going to be willing to pay for it. And that's
Yeah.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I take more time with my stuff. You're actively you're asking me to stop what I'm doing to work on this thing for you. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't mind that. That's not a big deal, but you're going to have to pay appropriately for it. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, I do have a bachelor's degree in this. This is 20 years of me working on my craft, and you're going to get the accumulation of all that, and you will be charged appropriately. And a lot of people understand that. A lot of people get that entirely,
Yeah.
and other people don't. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. It is. And I never complain about like art pieces being like a certain price, because I know, because I do personally know some artists that here in Columbia, South Carolina, and if you go into their room, they just have a room full of art. They have like, the table set out, the pencils and the color and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is not cheap. Like,
Right.
buying this stuff is not cheap. And they have to, if they want to keep doing this, that, the price and the time and the effort it takes to draw, this is what it takes. So,
Especially for traditional artists. So it's like it's one thing if it's like, oh, I'm doing digital art.
yeah.
Sure. For me, say for example, so I charge $350 for a full body. Right? If
Yeah.
this was gonna be on paper, oh, it's double that.
Yeah.
Almost triple that. And it's not because I'm not confident in my ability as a traditional artist. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
It's more so this is gonna take a different brain for me to work on this.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And this is genuinely one of the kind. I cannot print this off and sell it to other people. I
Yeah.
could. I don't own a scanner, so I'm not going to scan it. I'm not going to worry about saving it as a print to do. Like for me, with with traditional pieces, this is it.
Mhm.
I'm not making any copies of this. I'm not. If somebody were to ask me to draw the same characters, it's not going to be the same piece. It's going to be something
Yeah.
completely different. So that's, oh no, you charge out the wazoo for that.
Yeah.
Personally, because it's just like it takes a completely different brain.
Yeah.
you know. But that's also me. So
I feel like that's how a lot of artists feel. It's depends on what you do. Now, as far as artwork concerned, how do you feel about AI generated art pieces?
I think it had the opportunity to be something great,
Uh
but
huh.
unfortunately, as with a lot of things that tech bros get their hands on, it ends up being this gross form of exploitation, quite
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I thought a lot of the stuff that people were making with it, like, oh, Super Mario World, if it was like an 80s fantasy movie
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, I thought that was really cool because I thought it looked really neat. But I know that it was built off of very
Yeah.
terrible things. So it's like people were getting their work stolen. And the thing is, there's somebody out there who has done that before. They have taken that and they made a live action version of Super Mario World if it came out in the 80s, and it was a high fantasy
Right.
dark fantasy series. Somebody has done that before. Otherwise, those AI images would not exist. So you can find exactly what you're looking for, or there's somebody out there who's willing to do what you're looking for. But
Yeah.
even if you can't find it, bro, make it. Actually, make it.
Is I do feel like with AI generated stuff, it takes away. It has an opportunity to take away from the actual artist that's out there, that's drawing stuff and going to artist alley and stuff. Because at any convention, I'll always be very very careful on where I go to, because like um if it's AI, I'm very less likely to actually purchase it. Like, I want something that someone actually created on their own, whether it's digital art or hand drawn stuff. Like, I go to that more, because I know the negative space that it can create. Because I've been watching some artists frustration when it comes to AI, because and then they might see some of their art being AI generated and people are selling that.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
so scary. I can only imagine. Like, especially for the more popular artists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, if people, and the reality is of it all, it's like businesses don't care. If businesses want something that is close to your art, but they don't want to pay you, or they don't want to pay your prices or whatever, despite the fact that they're $1 million company or $1 billion company in some cases, they will feed your work into AI
Yeah.
and then produce it. And I think that's disgusting. And people, the average consumer, not the general con goer, right? Because general convention attendees, they know the deal, right? They know how to
Yeah.
shop, they know how to walk up and down every aisle, they know how to do that. But especially at more general interest conventions, just your average everyday person that doesn't really care about comics to that extent, and they don't really care about where they're getting the artwork from. They're just like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Not thinking to keep an eye out for the extra fingers or the wonky eyes or anything like that. Like, they don't think to keep an eye out for that stuff, because they operate in the real world. And the
Right.
AI discourse, I feel like, is just so much an internet issue, is not a real world issue.
Yeah.
It can affect the real world because we have people selling AI art at these shows and
Yeah.
things like that. Don't get me wrong, it is very much a real world issue, but the severity of it, I feel like, is contained to online, because I'm seeing people actively dealing with AI artists, like them getting kicked out of shows when people realize, oh, this is AI art, this shouldn't be here. You alert the convention staff and they get them kicked out. So it's an issue,
Uh-huh.
but if people are vigilant, it's not going to continue to be as much of an issue as we are concerned about it being. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because yeah, that's mostly where I see the discourse is online, whether it's on Instagram and or Twitter, whichever the case may be. But I thought I saw some AI generated art when I was at Animation. I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't going to be out there. But um, what's funny though, to the listeners, I was sent to you. Actually, her name escapes me right now, but she had like a badass setup on how I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for some hand drawn art. She's like, oh, I know just the person.
That was
And
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that was my friend. She goes by Panda Gyoza,
yes, yes.
but I've known her. We met, excuse me, we met at the Art Institute in Virginia
Okay.
Beach. So we both graduated together, and I met her there. And she was the one who was like, "Hey, we don't know what we're going to be doing with our degrees. We both hate animating, right?
Yeah.
Let's try this instead." So we both, so she had already done a few conventions here and there, and her eye for detail is just immaculate.
Yeah.
So she had already started doing setups, and she was traveling for shows and stuff like that. And she was the one who convinced me to like really just start doing this for real, for real.
Yeah.
Any and all success I have in conventions, I have to attribute to her, because it's like if it wasn't for as much of a waste of time as the Art Institute was for me, I met everybody that I care about. a lot more people that I care about there. I met my boyfriend, I met her, I met several other people.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for going to AI, I would have never learned anything at all about vending at conventions. So
But that's the one good thing about college, though. You know, if you might not have learned anything that you can learn on your own, but you met some very awesome people along the way. Because if it wasn't for the Art Institute, you wouldn't have met those awesome people that you met. So
exactly. So she's always like trying to put me on to stuff, and I always am super appreciative of it, because now here we are talking. So
yeah, exactly. Like she made a beeline. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for this and that, because I loved her setup. Like the way her setup was put out there. She had music playing, and she had like this little lounge area you could kind of like sit and chill at. I was like, I've never seen that at a convention. And like it's very unique. And so I was complimenting her on that. And I told her I was looking for some like 90s, I guess 90s style art. And that's when she said, "Oh, I know just the person."
yeah,
And
she's steady putting me on, and I'm so appreciative.
so now, since I'm thinking I'm seeing what you're drawing there. So obviously you are a Dragon Ball fan. So when did you start watching Dragon Ball? What was your starting point?
So okay, I have a very funky relationship with Dragon Ball. So I didn't really know what it was when it was actively airing on Toonami.
Uh-huh.
One, we didn't have cable. Or like our cable, whether or not we had it, was very off and on. And so when I could watch it, or when it was on TV, we just didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we were Jehovah's Witnesses growing up.
Yeah.
So no Harry Potter, no Dragon Ball, no Pokemon, no nothing. We weren't allowed to indulge in any of that.
Yeah.
Around the time my parents split, we actually left the faith. And when we moved, my dad got a PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like the mid to late 2000s. So PlayStation 2 were cheap.
Yeah.
And the games you could get with them were also very cheap. So he got 3 games. He got a Robotech game, The Matrix Reloaded, or whatever that PS2 game was, and Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Okay.
I was getting into anime, but I knew what Dragon Ball Z was, but I had no idea like how entrenched for real into the culture it honestly was. So we didn't have a memory card, but you have to play story mode to get more characters, right? So with that, I'm replaying the story countless times, not thinking, oh, I can just leave the PS2 on.
Yeah.
And just that'll save my progress, as opposed to having a memory card, because unfortunately the importance of that kind of stuff was not a thing for me. It was just like, what do you need a memory card for? You have the game already. And I'm like, it's a game.
Memory cards are the worst.
They're kind of necessary. So I would leave the game on. God forbid the power went out, but I would leave the game on, and I would unlock more of the story as I played through the game. And so I learned more about Dragon Ball from there, and I fell in love with what I saw. From there, I'm like, oh, well, the story actually starts when Goku's a little kid. So let me start reading the manga. So I started buying the manga, and I just became obsessed with the manga. And I got gifted the first season of the DVD box set one year, and I think from my grandmother. And I just kind of speed ran through the whole series after that. So I would
What?
get like the box sets. I would get the box sets of the DVDs, and me and my sister would just sit and just try to get through as much of the story as we could because we knew what was going to happen because we had played through the
Yeah.
whole game several times over. But still, we were like, I got to see this for real, for real. So so I was obsessed with it. I was that girl. I would carry the box sets with me to school because I thought it was so cool. I wanted to show
Yeah.
off my new thing. I had the booklets. I had the little mini Vegeta toys. It was terrible. Seventh grade was a
You
very
got it bad. You had it bad.
it was nasty. I had never been so down bad. So when I would tell people I was down, when I would tell people, yeah, I love Dragon Ball or whatever like that, and they're just like, really? That old thing that was like on TV forever? I'm like, yeah, man, it's
Oh, you said that old thing. Man,
right.
I know you want to fight. I know you.
It was crazy. So then when they debuted Kai, and I didn't like Kai because to an extent, I'm not a fan of censorship.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
I'm
was
with
just like, I don't think this is fine. Like here in the States, you're gonna make the effort to release this thing as was supposed to be, according to the manga. The manga was disgusting. It was gritty. It was gross.
Yes. Yes.
And you completely wash that away here in the States. I thought that was pointless. So we may as well just keep the original series.
And you know what's funny? Like when it first came out, right? It didn't show up on Cartoon Network first. I want to say it was on when I first saw it. It was on UPN from back in the day. Yeah, it was on UPN. It used to come on like
Toonzai, yeah, whatever they had, whatever that thing was. I remember what you're talking about.
It was something crazy, but it was like Sunday morning. It was like a weird time frame, but it showed up on TV before. So when they introduced it in the Toonami block, like, you know, me as a kid then looking at it, I'm like, yes, this thing was gritty. And, you know, a part of me did miss the censorship part of it. But when I got older, I'm like, damn, this thing got censored like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, holes were getting punched through people. People was getting decapitated. Like it was real gritty. And I love the animation style. So, there was a record store, a music store called FY. Well, it was called, it's called FYE. It was called FYE.
Mm-hmm.
So went to FYE, and they were selling VHS tapes, and they had anime, like a wall of anime. And I saw Dragon Ball, and then I turned it over, and in like small red writing, it was like may not be suitable for, you know, kids a certain age or under. And I was like, I want this because I feel like this is uncut. So popped it in. I was like, oh yeah, this is where it needs to be. And even though like Dragon Ball as a franchise, and it started in the middle, it gave it the Star Wars treatment. You know, it sold like hotcakes, and it catapulted anime into the stratosphere. We got Crunchyroll now. We used to have Funimation until they got assimilated. And you know what I mean? And anime is on Disney Plus now. Crazy.
The kids have it so good, and there are people who are older than me who think I also had it really good. I didn't have it very good when it came to getting my hands on some anime. I still, like, my experience with anime plants me like specifically in the DVD era.
Yeah.
It's like the Moe era specifically. Mm-hmm. But my earliest memories are like of VHS anime. Yeah. So where things were truly not censored.
Yes.
Like if you were into anime, you were into all anime. You couldn't just say like, oh, I'm a shonen nut or I'm a shoujo. Like, no, you have to be into it because Lord knows we're going to get your hands on it ever again.
Ooh, you know what? Okay. So I'm going to put a pin in Dragon Ball for a second. So how can I ask this? The current anime style that you see now, compared to the animation style of like the 80s and 90s, which do you prefer?
So I think that's actually a very good question.
Uh-huh.
Animation style as opposed to art style,
Yeah.
because I think what people seem to like mix up a little bit is prime example. Okay, so Dragon Ball looks nothing like Akira. Akira looks nothing like what's the series that came out from that time frame? Rama One Half. Rama One
Yeah.
Half looks nothing like Orotsuki Doji. So like people don't understand that it's like these are all very different art styles, right?
Yeah.
Now, yes, there are some similar aesthetics, like the longer faces and the smaller eyes and everything like that. Yeah, but these series, but me describing that has nothing to do with Rama One Half or anything by Rumiko Takahashi. None of her stuff looked like Akira Toriyama stuff. Akira Toriyama stuff did not look like, what's his name? The guy who did Akira. Didn't look Katsuhiro Otomo. Was nothing
Mhm.
like. They all look very different. But the way they were animated is very, very specific. You
Yeah.
don't have that as often with modern series. So with that in mind, I think I appreciate the older stuff more
Yeah.
because they were very much making something because they wanted to make it, as opposed to making a product. And in
Yeah.
making a product, you have to make it as flashy and as eye-catching as you can, which is why everything is so visual effects heavy, as
Yeah.
visual effects heavy as it is now. Whereas character animation is just not something and that's even with Western animation as well. Character animation is not the big thing right now,
Yeah.
unless you're for indie titles, like indie content that have good character animation. But
Yeah.
in some animations, modern day Japanese animations, because it's like just an exported product now, as opposed to being a form of artwork.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it looks really, really cool. I'm happy the kids are having a great time, but
Mm-hmm. So that's what he is saying.
I don't
To
care. I don't care about this. Like, this is pretty. Yes, I can see pretty things. Like,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
over the.
See, that's why I want to pick an artist brain when it comes to that, because me as a watcher, because I can't draw a day in my life. I mean, I would like to learn, but I, like when we grew up in, because you're a little bit later than me, is a certain aesthetic like with 80s and 90s animation. Like you see certain shadows, you see certain reflections, and you know, most things were hand drawn. Like
Right. Yeah.
um like City Hunter. Like City Hunter, like I love the opening for City Hunter. It gave that 80s look to it, and it was so fluid. And now, I mean, of course, you do run into things where like the opening sequence of an anime is richer, animation style is richer than the actual show is, but mainly because of budget. So, like when I found Gundam 0083, like Stardust Memory and Amazement, it was one of the last Gundam series that was actually hand drawn. So,
Mhm.
outside of Gundam Wing, of course.
Right.
And I love that style, especially like Macross Plus. Like I absolutely love Macross Plus,
Right.
like the
Exactly.
movie, mainly because of the animation. Like the series is, I mean, the movie is really good. Don't get me wrong, but that animation style caught my attention like that. Like that's all it took for me. Everything was so fluid, and the sequence went into another sequence or whatever the case would be. Now, when I look at like new animation styles, yes, like you said, it do look pretty. Like Demon Slayer, prime example. Like Demon Slayer is gorgeous, artistically. But if you ask which animation style I prefer, it would definitely be 90s. And
Very much. Yeah. Because it's more so like it's something we cannot get back to cell animation. We're never going to get back to that because again, we need to push out a product, you
Yeah.
know. But there's a grittiness that comes with cell animation that's like, it's so good. I love seeing mistakes.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that is a human piece. And the moment we put computers in the animation, we started utilizing computers for things like um, coloring and line art and all that jazz. I'm just like, oh my god. but it's but it's okay. I'm getting more of this thing that I enjoy. But I'm like, and I hate to sound like a boomer, but like, it's missing that human element to it.
Yes. Yes. You noticed. I don't know if you've noticed on the internet because it's been pulling up on my timeline all the time, especially on Facebook. Like people are taking characters and putting 90s anime style to those said characters, and it looks so good. Like it looks like, but I know it's like AI generated, but I'm like, if this was a 90s animation style like this, I feel like it would hit harder. And also, like with these older anime, like when we talk about grittiness, we talking TVMA type stuff. Like what is it? Is it Demon City? Like Demon City is one.
Wicked City.
Wicked City, that's it. Wicked City.
One. I don't know. Vampire Hunter D, is that considered adult, or is that just?
I would say maybe TV-14. I don't think it's super gritty. Ninja Scroll, I would say that was Ninja Scroll for sure. Ninja Scroll for sure.
Violence Jack, Devilman. It's just cute. Shin Cutie Honey, specifically from that era. So it's just like my love for that all started with those series. All started with that con. So yeah, like I was there for Lucky Star when it came out. I was there for the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya when it came out. Like I was there for all that, and I loved both of those, all the stuff that was coming out from that era.
Yeah,
but it's got nothing compared to.
Man, I have Angel Cop. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, I'm gonna buy you immediately. I'm gonna get you. So anything that if I go to a convention and I see something that's like 80s, 90s style, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go look on Crunchyroll. And I'm gonna look on YouTube to see if I don't have it already. And then if it's not on any of those things, then I'm gonna buy it. So hence me getting Gundam 0083 and Baccano because you can't find those anywhere. So
yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, Baccano not being a thing anywhere is kind of crazy to me because you couldn't go anywhere without seeing anything Baccano back in the day.
Yeah, so I think what happened is the Funimation lost the license. The license expired, and they never picked it back up. And then Crunchyroll picked Funimation up, and then Outlaw Star is not on Crunchyroll. And I was like, this is a travesty. And then I go on Disney Plus, and what is on Disney Plus? Outlaw Star. That's right there. I'm like, this is on Disney Plus, man. This is crazy. Naruto Shippuden is there, and there's like some other anime that's there. So there's a lot of integration going on right now as far as streaming services is concerned. Surprisingly so.
Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, that's good. Again, I'm happy for him. But thinking about Naruto anywhere but Cartoon Network is really funny to me.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Shippuden came out, like I stopped watching Naruto like around the time Shippuden had come out. But I was debating on getting into it because I was like, you know what? Why not? I want to see where the story goes.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it was on Disney XD, I was like, oh no, I'm just getting watched.
Like, it was it was on Disney XD?
It was, yeah.
Oh yeah, it got censored like crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't care how much I don't care enough to know where this goes.
Yeah, it got censored like crazy. Like I know on Disney Plus it's not censored. Like none of the stuff is censored. Now,
okay.
But now back to Dragon Ball. So you say you didn't like Dragon Ball Z Kai, which I don't either because for me, I know some people like it because it goes straight through the story. There's no filler. But when it comes to Dragon Ball and its lore, I want to see the filler too because I feel like that matters as well.
Very much.
So, did you watch Dragon Ball GT at all?
I did. I love GT.
What? Yo, oh, you serious? You love GT?
I love GT. Like no, like people think I'm just doing it to be a troll. I'm like, no, I'm so serious. I loved it when I was.
So
Was it
what? What?
was weird in some parts? Yes, but
Uh-huh.
we got to remember, like I actually read the manga for Dragon
Right,
Ball,
right.
so I was into everything that Dragon Ball can offer you because like there was nothing too weird. Like
Yeah.
once you read the original series, it's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you just let it rock.
So so what did you love about GT?
Super Saiyan 4.
Okay, okay. Is there anything else besides that?
Super Saiyan 4 was really cool. I liked the notion of it turning back into like an adventure series. So you had Kid Goku was a little freaky, but I was like, eh, whatever. But
Yeah.
going back to Kid Goku, his granddaughter, and his rival son traveling the universe together to get Dragon Balls. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I liked it a lot. That aspect of it was really fun. But then it would turn back into Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh well. Here we are. Here we
You
are.
know,
And not to say that I don't enjoy Dragon Ball Z because obviously I do, but it turned back into that with Omega Shenron and
yeah.
stuff, and I was like, okay, that's fine, that's cool, whatever.
You know what's funny is that when GT first came out, I was legitimately excited about it because I want to know what happens after, and considering that I was introduced into Dragon Ball Z first, actually a lot of people were
Mm-hmm.
before Dragon Ball. Um, I understand what you're talking about, the adventure aspect of it, because now that you mentioned, I never looked at it that way in that light. Because the first arc with Baby, that was an adventure type story because they was traveling looking for the Black Star Dragon Ball. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I found out that Kira Toriyama wasn't like over this project, and I was like, man, I can chuck this in the woods. I did like Super Saiyan 4 though. Super
Right,
Saiyan 4 was definitely, I think that was a selling point for GT, like, period.
right,
Because they introduced Super Saiyan 4, and Dragon Ball in its fame, we were seeing Super Saiyan 5 and 6. Like people was drawing this stuff drawing this stuff out on the internet, and you were taking it to school, and it was like, yo, that Goku is this color when he's Super Saiyan 5. I'm like, there's a Super Saiyan 5 and you got to keep watching even though that
right,
never existed.
of course, yeah, right.
So I get what you coming from with that. Now what about Dragon Ball Super? How you feel about that?
I do not like Dragon Ball Super.
Is it the animation?
No, it's just I find it hilarious that people wanted to rag on GT, but when Super comes along, everyone wants to decide they're a Dragon Ball fan. I thought that was really funny, so I decided to not indulge because I'm like, y'all aren't gonna play in my face like this when this is literally when it first came out, when it
Yeah.
first was coming out. It's
Uh-huh.
not as good as GT, like from the gate. Like that was just it for me, and I was just like, I don't care about like the stakes are not there enough for me. The stakes were not there because it's like, oh well, you have Goku Black or whatever he is. You have this guy who thinks he's better than everybody. They couldn't even defeat him from what my knowledge is. So they just had to erase that universe, and it's like that's boring. I don't like that aspect of it. And then with the tournament of power, it's just like, oh, it's these two creatures that again, they're just out for fun. So they're gonna destroy a universe if the warriors aren't strong enough. I'm like, that's weird. I don't like that. So and it's like, oh, you get some really cool fights out of it, and you get some really cool character moments out of it. But I'm just like, I don't care enough to know where this is supposed to go.
Super.
I know the manga is really good. I know people said like, well, if you don't like that, then you should read the manga. And I'm like, I don't doubt that. I don't care enough to.
Yeah, the manga
Yeah.
is the manga is really good. It's like it. So the Goku Black situation. So I will say go back and watch it in its entirety because the shine is not on Goku or Vegeta. The shine is on someone else, and someone else like ultimately defeats Goku Black. And it's like, okay, I see that. Also, the one thing I do like about Super is that it is a continuation of Z, and also you don't see Vegeta falling behind. like Vegeta and Goku are neck and neck with each other. It's like, you know, Vegeta goes off to train with Beerus first. He's gone. And Goku is falling behind. He's like, wait, where's Vegeta? And Whis is like, oh, well, we've been training on Beerus plan for like the past 6 months. He like, say what? He like, he been doing what? He like, please take me with you. And then, you know, Vegeta was the one that had to show Goku around. That's like, hey, this is what you need to do every day. This is what you need, you know. And so also in Super, you know how in Z, you know, Vegeta was like chasing a certain level, like Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. But in the manga, they actually branched out. So they are two different things. So, you know, Goku is Ultra Instinct, which was like a defensive maneuver where you can move without a thought. And Vegeta is Ultra Ego, which he's like bright red and he's highly offensive. So they're like in two different planes. And I do like that. So
that is an aspect I do like about it, as opposed to them trying to work towards the same goal.
Yeah.
They're just doing their own thing. And as an artist, I'm like, okay, I feel that. But as a just enjoyer of the series, but we need to keep something else in mind too. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So for a long period of time, my only like real interaction with the Dragon Ball fandom, it was all online.
Okay. Okay.
So
that could be toxic.
It wasn't actually. Yeah. I was in the fandom with other girls, and what we would do, it was almost like, and I hate to describe it this way, but it was almost like playing with dolls, it felt like. Because it was like, what if we finally do get to see Vegeta and Bulma's wedding? What if we get to see Pan grow up and do this and like have fun, and just like, it wasn't like the majority of fandom, especially Dragon Ball fandom right now, is like power scaling. Yeah. And beat who in a fight, all this and all that. That's not my experience with Dragon Ball fandom. My experience is I just want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
I want the life. I want the slice of life with the Dragon Ball characters. And I got that with episode 2 of GT. I finally got to see the Briefs family with Vegeta, Bulma, and Trunks be a family for a little bit. I'm like, all right, I got what I wanted. And then I just dropped the series.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the whole mustache bit when he was shave his mustache off and he had
with GT. Yes, I got it with GT as well, but I got it in episode 2 of Super.
Yeah.
I got it. I got what I needed, and then I just dropped the series.
Oh, so you just missed the part where Bulma gets pregnant again with Bulla.
I saw some of that.
And he refused to leave because, okay. And then he finds out that Goku never kissed Chi-Chi, or he don't know what a kiss is.
Which is bullshit. We see him kiss his wife in the show. Why did they decide to put that there?
Yeah.
That was stupid. I was like, why are we writing this character like he's actually stupid? He's not stupid. I was so that's another
really
thing.
Though? You think
I'm like, he's not stupid. That's the thing.
What,
He might be slow, but he's not stupid.
Hey, listen. Now, where Goku is really smart, he's really smart at fighting. But it comes down to everyday life. He falls behind a little bit. And Vegeta picks up on it so fast. He was like, listen, you mean to tell, he probably don't know what he kissed Chi-Chi, but he didn't know the actual word for what he was doing.
Fair, okay. That is also fair. So okay, so that's my piece, right? And this is another thing that me and some people came up with.
Uh-huh.
Like, what if he's just autistic? What if he's got a touch of autism? Because you have this thing where it's like Goku historically is not good in social situations. He's touching people's crotches without asking, like a baby kid Goku, he's just rolling up on people, hitting their crotch. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not great in social situations, despite the fact that he has some know-how of how to behave in public. So, very slight. But when it comes to fighting, he's got that one hyperfixation that he's thinking about it day and night. Yeah. Life ain't right if he's not fighting. All this and all that. I'm like, Goku, I'm the same way. And in my journey of understanding that, I'm like, I might be on the spectrum. So it's like, but my thing is like with all Saiyans, because they're all a little slow when it comes to social situations. Yeah, Vegeta got acclimated, but I doubt it's because he wasn't allowed to be not all the way there. He's living with rich people, so you have to act
Yeah.
a certain kind of way.
Yeah, he came for royalty too. So it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So he had to function a kind of way. But Goku, no, he's a dumb mountain boy.
yeah, I mean, he didn't know anything city wise. Like he just grew up in the woods. Like he hit his head and he forgot things. But
He's a country ass dude. I'm not expecting him to to know the.
Grandpa Gohan did the best he could.
He did the best he could. That poor boy. That poor boy. So it's just like, yeah, he's not all the way there, and that's fine. He's simple. He's simple, and that's a-okay. But to make him stupid, I'm like, the fandom got to them with that one. I was like, Goku's not dumb. He's just.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh no, Vegeta, let's go train." He was like, "No, I'm not leaving." He was like, "Why?" He's like, my wife is pregnant, and I'm not leaving until she gives birth to my kid." And Whis was like, "Oh, that's what you're waiting on? Hold on, I got you, fam. Boom,
and
your baby's born. Here you go."
Absolute nightmare. That was funny. I'm like, okay, I'll give y'all that one. But
yeah, he's like, "Well, I wasn't there when Goten was born," and Vegeta like, "Cause you're an idiot. That's why."
And you're stupid.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not missing my kids being born.
Not this one.
Yeah, nah, I ain't doing that. Not twice.
Exactly.
That's now for Dragon Ball Z. What is your favorite saga?
Okay. I would have to say the Namek saga because it's Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
That is Dragon Ball Z in its purest, no bullshit form. That's ain't no extra, it's all about story.
Yeah.
I'm not here for the character development. I'm not here for character interactions. I'm not here for none of that. I just want to see some dudes knock each other's heads off their bodies. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There are stakes and we're working towards minimizing those stakes. That's it. That's Namek Saga. And I love that. For as much as I love character interaction, for as much as I love slice of life and everything that happened after Namek, that was cool. I loved it. Whatever. My shonen interest brain peaks with Namek. So
yeah. I'm the same way. When it comes to that, I really do love the Namek Saga, and I'm enamored with colors, and so I feel like Namek was like the most colorful saga because the Ginyu Force and the different battle armor that they had. I was like, oh man, this is dope because now there's other aliens that are out there. I mean, Vegeta went on a rampage.
It was insane. Like you get a reminder, like the build up to Vegeta and Nappa coming to Earth was really cool. It's like, okay, they did a good job with that. It's this threat.
Yeah.
Goku died in the first few episodes of Dragon Ball Z, which is something that you're like, oh God, Goku's dead. That's terrifying. They had to kill him in order to kill this other threat. So Lord knows what these other two got going on. That build up to that was really cool. But Vegeta didn't get his hands dirty during the match with the Cybermen and Nappa and the other Z fighters. He didn't get his hands dirty at all. He's just painted as the final boss.
Yes.
And it took everything within everybody to get, not even to kill Vegeta, because they could have, but Goku was like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Again, he's not all the way there. So
yeah,
they let that rock. Now, when you get to Namek, you get to see what Vegeta's actually capable of.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
Gohan and Krillin are fully aware of what he's capable of, but they get to see it firsthand.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, geez.
Because Vegeta, to me, the best moment in Namek for me was when Gohan shafted him on that Dragon Ball, and he was pissed.
Yes.
And like the original voice actor Brian Drummond, like he killed that. Like, you want to escape my wrath? Like I felt that. Like that was furious anger. That was crazy. And you're right though, because sometimes I always get in debates. As far as like Goku and Vegeta, I'm like, if you really think about it, Goku never truly beat Vegeta, like
He
at
did.
all, at any point of Dragon Ball Z.
Now,
And
my boyfriend will argue otherwise, but I was just like, no, sweetie. Now, frankly, the fight with Majin, Vegeta, and Goku, that wasn't
yeah.
fair. That was a cheap shot. I'm not gonna give you a cheap shot.
But is there in a true fight though? Is there any rules in a fight? Truly?
He had Goku put his guard down and then knocked him out. Now, for reasons, he had his reasons for it. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
I'm going to count this as a W. No, that's not what he was saying with that when he did that. So I don't count that as a W. However, if it was not for Yajirobe, Gohan, Krillin getting involved in the initial fight on Earth, Vegeta would have won that fight. If it was
He would have
just
killed Goku.
if it was just a true fight between Goku and Vegeta, he would have won that fight. Now, did he have to go Super Saiyan 4 in order to potentially kill Goku? Yes.
Is it true for
Giant Ape? And he had to go
Ape
Giant
form?
Ape to kill Goku? Yes. So it was like he had to bring out the most amount of his power, but he still would have been the one to kill him.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just like, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. He still would have won that fight.
You know, people was arguing that, like, oh, he had to turn into an ape. I'm like, that is a technique. Like, that's a technique. Like, did Goku, like, Vegeta don't have Kaioken. He's familiar with it, as he said. He's like, I'm familiar with something like that. And he was able to negate that to the point where Goku had to do, Kaioken times 3 and times 4 to actually, mount up an offense to them. Like, well, when Vegeta got sent in the air, the fight was won there. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like,
he came back.
He came back. Like how y'all splitting hairs here, man. Like y'all really trying to give Goku this dub. Like, nah, he didn't get that dub. Like you said, it wasn't for Yajirobe, Krillin, Gohan. Goku would have been out of there. He been back on Snake Way.
Quickly, for that matter.
Easy.
And the only reason, now mind you, again, Vegeta's not using any special techniques to bring out more of his power in that fight. That's just Vegeta's raw power. That's just who he is. He's not using Kaioken. He's not using any other techniques. That's just Vegeta. But Goku won't back down because he's using all these different techniques that he has.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is, man. And what's funny is that Whis in Dragon Ball Super singled out Krillin. I'm not Krillin. He singled out Goku and Vegeta. He's like, well, Goku, you are too lax with your fighting ability. Like sometimes, like when people get away, people that should be gone, your lackadaisical nature in fighting causes this to happen. You're like, Vegeta, you are too tense. Like, you don't relax enough. He's like, that's the difference between you two, because both of them was fighting Whis or training against Whis, and they didn't touch him. Like, Whis was so good, he drew marks on their armor and their clothes as they were fighting. Say, yeah. He said, I'm self-aware. I'm stronger than Beerus. Like, I might be the guy that looks after him, but he's not stronger than me.
Right, exactly.
So I like, oh, that's perfectly explained. Like, because Vegeta do fight tense, and Goku do fight lackadaisical in a sense. And also, like with the movies, I love the fact that Piccolo got a power boost. And people's like, man, why they hold Gohan out? I'm like, y'all know what Gohan been through? This man was like, how old was Gohan when he was in Namek? Was like 8, 9?
On Namek?
Yeah.
He was 5.
He was 5. See? 5. This man got his neck broke.
Why would I want to? And that's the human thing about Dragon Ball that I really enjoy. It's like,
yeah,
Goku is just built different.
Yeah.
Right? He's just built different. Everyone around him is not built the way he is. He's okay with the fact that his son does not want to pursue the same thing because he got to witness. Because after a while, shit won't fun no more. This isn't funny. This is not funny. This has not been fun. This has not been cool for a very long time. The universe is on my shoulders.
Yes.
You don't knock out Cell, I'm going to die. My dad's already dead. My mom's going to die. Everyone's going to die if I don't do what I got to do. And the Anime, he's 11, but in the manga, he's 9 when they're fighting Cell.
Wow.
Why would I want to? Realistically, why am I going into? Again, 11. That's weird. 9. I think about what I was doing when I was 9.
Yeah.
Not.
You
I
weren't
would
out here
not
saving the world.
saving the world. No.
Nah. You done got punched in the stomach by Vegeta. You done got your neck snapped by Raccoon. And like, I mean, your eyes are white because
Right.
like you
Yeah.
are you like this close to the upper room until you got brought back with a senzu bean. And then on top of that, you get brought back to fight Cell. Mind you, your daddy throws a senzu bean to fully heal this mofo, so you can fight this man fair. And Vegeta and Piccolo looking at you like, "Hey, bro, what you doing, Cam? Like,
Are you
hold
crazy?
on, right?
Now,
I
mind you,
know.
Goku had a lapse in judgment. I won't.
Yes,
Every parent does it. Every parent has a lapse in judgment. I get it. But the moment he realized that was stupid of me, wasn't it? And then did his best to try to fix the situation.
yeah,
That cost him his life.
yes, yeah.
So it's like,
Man, Dragon Ball. But
and you
Namek is my favorite one. Just
Namek
we share
is
that
the,
similarity.
yes.
They share that similarity. But so I know you mentioned some other anime that's out there. Now you digging some Street Fighter too, right?
I have always enjoyed the character designs of Street Fighter, but me, despite playing the game, the Dragon Ball Budokai game, my head and hands do not translate to video game controllers at all. I'm bad. I suck. I've never been good. It doesn't matter the game. I've never been good at it. But the character designs and the characters themselves have always been super interesting to me. So I played Tekken, Soul Calibur, Street Fighter, everything growing up. But it was just to look at the pretty characters on screen, never to actually be good at the game.
Okay. I think way back when Street Fighter first came out. No, I had Street Fighter Championship Edition for Sega Genesis, but I had a Brady Games strategy guide, but they had all kinds of artwork in that thing, and I was like super enamored with that. Also Zangief, he had like blood shooting out his head because he was that amped up. I will say Street Fighter 6, like the latest Street Fighter that's out right now, is definitely one of the most artistic style Street Fighters in a long time. I know Street Fighter Third Strike. Third Strike was very much on the hip hop side of things. Street Fighter 6 is too, but I think that's why I gravitated towards Kimberly a lot, because she was super colorful character.
Right. I think the fun that can be had with it, I think Capcom is really, really good with like playing around, so to say. Mm-hmm. Their baseline character designs are simple enough.
Yeah.
Right? Just to be eye-catching. But then taking that and then flipping it on its head, they're really, really good at that.
Yeah.
They're dummy good at that. And it's so cool to see. It's like, okay, the iconic design of Chun-Li with the poofy shoulders and then the buns on the head and the stockings and everything. Okay, but I think it was Third Strike where they gave her the more slimmed down outfit where it's just like the top Chi-Pao. I can't remember what that top would be called. But instead of giving her a whole Chi-Pao, giving her like just the top, instead of giving her the big white covers on her buns, just making them smaller pigtails and removing the spikes from her thing. Like whittling it down to its perfect form. And then the Street Fighter 6 making her look older, giving her like a more super traditional Chinese look. Like that's really cool. They're really, really good with that.
Yeah.
And then the new characters looking like they fit very well into that universe still. Except for Luke. But everybody else is really cool.
So, like, going back to Street Fighter, have you... Clearly, I will say you have watched this. You watched the animated movie, haven't you?
I've seen one of them.
Which ones have you seen?
What is the one where Chun-Li fought Vega?
That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Yeah. Everybody equates that. I should have just started with that. Like, yeah, Vega Chun-Li fight. like
I
I
mean,
just
I
think right
remember
there.
more parts about that movie, but that's the one, of course, the moment everyone knows.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, she picked up that couch and threw it.
yes, I was like, okay, this is intense. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So now brown hair Vega, I like it. I
Yeah.
like brunette Vega, but I'm so used to seeing him blonde. So
Yeah.
I think that movie was the first time where I saw him as the brunette, and I was like, ooh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. You like
Yeah.
it? I think to me that's like, again, this thing was made with love in mind. So there's not a lot that happens in that movie, right? It's one of the more fun OVAs that we got, right?
Uh-huh.
Because Street Fighter characters kick each other's asses. It's really cool.
Pretty much.
But for me, not really plot heavy. Like the story isn't really there. You're mostly here just to see these characters move around. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The money went into the character. The money went into the animation for the action. And that's fine.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, when that movie first came on, it was Ryu and Sagat,
Right.
on the street. And you kind of see bits and pieces of that. You got little, cameo of Cammy. And, the whole plot was Bison was looking for a premier fighter to control, basically. And he was looking for Ryu, but Ryu was so sporadic, you never know where he was going to go or anything like that. And he was just in random fights. Ken was easier to, to track down because he's stationary. He's hanging out with Eliza, doing his own thing.
Right.
But they had to do my boy Gal like that, though, man. Gal was a non-fact. Gal was a non-fact in this situation.
He was there.
Bison played with that man like a toy.
It was that. I was like, okay, that's a shame. I like Guile. I was like, that's kind of crazy. I really like Guile. I was
Come on, man. So Street Fighter, like, what about Fatal Fury? Are you familiar with those characters?
I had no idea what that was until me and my friend started there.
Uh-huh.
I know why. Because like the story, like we just didn't get the cabinet unless you had what system that as games were mostly on. Can't think of
it was Neo Geo. It was on Neo Geo.
Unless you had a Neo Geo, no one knew what it was. So I'm like, okay. So because we didn't get the cap in the US or something like that. We got SNK and Fatal. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, at least that's how I think the story goes. So I won't look for it up. So when I got to see these characters, I was older.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was, the character design wizard. I thought I knew everything there was to know about character design.
Yeah.
And I thought their designs were incredibly boring.
It's for Fatal Fury?
Fatal Fury, yeah.
What? Yeah.
Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, all that stuff. I was just like, this is lame. I'm like, I don't like this. I didn't like it. And I know in hindsight now that's a little crazy, but I'm learning more now too.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them any less iconic. It's just when I look at this compared to Street Fighter, I was like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, some of their newer characters, or at least some of the characters that were coming out after Fatal Fury. Well, okay, let me say it like this. With Capcom's characters, it doesn't matter who draws them. All of these characters look really good. Right? Yeah. Whereas with SNK, they had to be in the hands of a good artist in order for these characters to look good.
Yeah.
Other than that, they look dumb to me. I don't like how these look. That was me.
Yeah.
That's me. So, and that's not fair because it's just kind of like, well, comparing it to Capcom when it's its own thing. And I get that it's its own thing.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Go ahead.
I mean, well, I didn't have anything to add to it, but yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I think we was introduced to Street Fighter first, and I know the guy that came up, one of the guys that came up with Street Fighter, he moved over to SNK to do to Fatal Fury, and Fatal Fury was like slightly different because you can go in the foreground and the background, which was kind of unique. But it depends on what day it is for me. I might be pro King of Fighters or pro Street Fighter. Like it depends, and I alternate, and I do like that. But the perfect blend to me, my number one favorite fighting game of all time is Capcom versus SNK 2, because they put everybody in there together. And I was like, oh, this is a dream come true. So
and they all look amazing. They all look really, really good. So I was like, okay, that's really neat. But even then, I was just like, I don't have the attachment to these characters that other people do. And so without that attachment, I'm like, eh. Now there are some SNK characters that I'm in love with. Don't get me wrong.
Such as?
And of course, I can't think of their names right now. Luong.
Okay.
I like Luong a lot. She's really cool. I love Dolores.
Okay.
In the newer King of Fighters. She's really cool. I like her a lot. Oh, what's the boy? I love Shermie. I used to hate Shermie.
Okay.
I used to hate Shermie, but I love her now. She's fantastic. It was one other. It was a male character that I can't think of, but I realized though I dislike more characters than I like characters from the SNK franchise.
Gotcha.
And okay, hang on. I like how Andy looks now in the new game.
Okay.
I've never liked his character design at any other point, because I'm like, this is just Geese Howard's younger.
Yeah.
That's stupid. He has no relation to Geese. Why does he look like Geese?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
And Geese, I hate Geese because to me, he just gives that guy who got really into martial arts and decided he was going to be the martial arts god. And it's like, bro, you're not even Asian. What are you doing? And then decides to be a dickhead about it. That's what gives me Geese out. I'm like, I don't like that ass. I don't like that. And then his son Rock is just annoying to me. So I just don't like Rock at all. So it was
what?
I don't like him. I don't like him. He gives me Trunks, but more annoying.
Trunks were no annoying. Yeah. I mean, well, to see him in an animated movie, because I would like to see like a King of Fighters movie, because you can definitely do several. I'll say maybe 2 or 3 King of Fighter movies, like animated movies, as an animated concern.
Is there a Fatal Fury movie?
Yes, there's 3 of them. Actually, I have those. Those. So if you compare Fatal Fury animated movie to Street Fighter animated movie, Street Fighter animated movie is better. You know,
they both really good. Yeah, but they both look amazing. Like, again, nothing amazing. Burgers of movies. I love watching them. Like, they're very pretty to look at.
Yes, for sure. Like the whole thing with Terry Bogard and Geese, like I felt like that fight should have been longer. Right. But maybe because of budget, they had to cut it short a little bit. Also Krauser in the second Fatal Fury movie, like he was a bad man pajama. So, for me, I do like Terry Bogard. Terry Bogard is like one of my favorite SNK characters. Rugal is definitely one of them. Like,
I like him now again. I like him now. Didn't like him back then.
Like yeah, what was it? Ultimate Rugal or?
Yeah. Is it Omega Rugal? Whatever they call it?
Omega Rugal. That's it. Okay. Omega Rugal. Yeah. And he was like tearing stuff up, man. Especially in Capcom SNK 2, man. You had to be on your P's and Q's because he would drop you like crazy. Right. So Rugal, Kim Kafwan, he's also one of my favorite ones.
Kim's cool. He's just visually boring.
You know what appealed to me though? It was the Capcom versus SNK 2 version of him, because his poses, like he'd do a pose and he'd look at the camera and he'll smile and it did like the ting. It like it shows his teeth. No. Like
He's a cutie pie. He's a cutie
Yeah.
pie. But it's just something about him is just, I'm like, they could have did more with you, boy. I'm just like,
Hey,
and now
man.
mind you, he has well animated pants. It's really cool. I like it, but I'm like, they could have just. He's missing something. I don't know.
Yeah, they dragged him in the anime though. I mean, he was getting worked out here, man. I was like, come on, man. Come on. He's better than this. It's better
I
than
know. I know. I like Joe.
this. Joe Higashi? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Joe. He's really cool. I wish I liked Mai more. Because
Yeah.
everything I enjoy, but there's just something about her that's just lacking for me. I just like it's very intentional how they
Yeah.
created her, and I get like the backstory, like they added that more into like why she dresses the way she dresses. I get it, but it's just something about it doesn't do anything for me.
You know, I'm kind of back and forth though on like the lore of King of Fighters. I feel like, comparatively speaking, like when we play Street Fighter, it's pretty much cut and dry. Like you beat Bison, and Gao and Bison is the one who have the beef early on when you play Street Fighter 2. So when you play King of Fighters, the story is a little bit deeper. Like you have to finish the story with 3 specific characters on the team, and then you get that specific ending. And it went up to like 98, no, 97 or something like that, where the ending goes. So I'm like, dang, this is a deeper story. And I feel like, I mean, now Street Fighter has more of a story now, but you know,
Right.
people just want to beat each other's ass. That's what we want to do.
That's the plot. That's what we're here for, right?
That is
So
what we do.
I agree. There is more plot in King of Fighters. And like anything SNK, like Garou, Mark of the Wolves, all that jazz. Like there's more plot.
Yeah.
For my plot babes. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Like I'm supposed to look at these characters and want to know more about them.
Yes.
Like if I were to say like, oh, I really don't like this, it's like, oh, but they went through this to get to where they are now. I'm like, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
You know, like that's wonderful. I went through a lot of stuff to get to where I am too. Like I did, boo. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's what everybody. I would hope that they put some interesting lore for this character, but I don't care to know it. That's also me. I'm just a little bit of a hater. So. A bit of a hater. You know.
Ooh, so I'm also pick your brain a little bit. So there's this anime that came out. I want to know how you feel about it. Have you ever seen Air Gear?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. I would like for you to see that. I just want to pick your brain and see if you like it or not, because I do like the aesthetic of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's etchy at some points, but I feel like they should remake this. I feel like with Air Gear, the manga is already finished. Like it's been finished like years ago. I feel like they should follow the manga straight down to the letter, and I think this thing will sell like hotcakes.
Right.
I really think. But as far as you though, like outside of Dragon Ball, what anime that kind of grabbed your attention to say, hey, you know, I'm gonna keep watching it?
So either before or right around the time I was really getting into Dragon Ball, I was getting into Devilman, basically the Go Nagai stuff, the top 3 Go Nagai, Cutie Honey, Violence Jack, stuff I should not have been watching at the age I was watching. It is what it is, but so my grandma was like the coveted DVD lady growing up. So like very integral to the community, you know, had all the movies and stuff like that. She would go to the library and she knew that I was an anime. Mm-hmm. So she would go through the anime section, she would pick stuff up, and she would just bring it home and we would just watch it. We would all watch it.
Yeah.
Some of the things that she brought home, because sometimes I would ask her to bring home something specific, but sometimes she would just bring home stuff just because she thought it looked interesting.
Yeah.
2 things that she brought home that forever changed like the trajectory as to how we move
Mm-hmm.
in my house was Elfen Lied and the series called Hibernate Renmei.
Okay.
Elfen Lied, I don't know if you've seen it or if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I heard of Elfen Lied, but I haven't like watched it.
Okay. There is a person on YouTube. I watch her videos all the time. She does like a very good, like a 2-hour retrospective on Elfen Lied. If you're not in the mood to watch the show, even though I tell everybody to, because it's really weird. It's so weird. It's like everything that sucks about anime.
Mm-hmm.
They try to make it more than what it is. It's disgustingly violent. It's really inappropriate, but it's trying to have a message. And in trying to have that message, it's almost cute how they attempted to do something. But I still liked it a lot. I'm 13 years old, however old I was. I was really young, watching this naked lady plow through this containment facility. That was really cool. And then you got to learn why she was there. Why does she not remember who she is? Is it a regressive state, or was it trauma, like from trauma, or was it just because she was shot in the head? Like, what is this? Why do the cousins like each other? It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. But it's every, like, you know how you would turn on, like, you would quickly change the channel when your parents were coming on, you watching something. That's Elfen Lied.
Yeah, the recall button. Yeah.
Yes, the recall button, the coveted recall button.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Elfen Lied is. But it's a rite of passage, you know?
Yeah.
Like a Rotsky Doji or Ninja Scroll or something like that. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for me, my first introduction to anime was not Dragon Ball. It was like Ronin Warriors or Samurai Troopers, depending on where you're at. And before, Cartoon Network, there was a Sci-Fi Channel, and they had like random anime movies or a series or something on a Sunday or a Saturday, and it come on at, I know they had a specific time, but me as a kid, it came on at random times. Like, oh snap, there's an anime out, so I'm watching, like Samurai Troopers, Green Legend ran. Tenchi Muyo in Love, like, and that's before I knew who Tenchi Muyo, really was. Right at that point in time, I think 5-Star Stories was on there at one point. Ninja Scroll was on there, and so I was introduced to that. Like, for me, that was my rite of passage. Even as a kid, I was like, "This is not for kids,"
right?
But I'm gonna keep watching it because the animation style was just vastly different than what I typically saw on a Saturday morning. So, I know I was in earlier shows. I told this story before. Like, Esclaflowne was on Fox Kids. I don't even remember that or not, but I think it was maybe only on there for like maybe a couple weeks, because there was one particular scene that I saw and I was like, "Well, I won't see this next week."
Exactly.
And they took that thing off. Like, they took it off.
That's so funny.
Which I haven't finished Esclaflowne either. I got to finish that.
Yeah, I need to go. So the thing is, it's like I'm more interested in going backwards with content as opposed to checking out whatever new stuff is on, because it's just, again, that older stuff just has a certain level of heart to it. Yeah. And not that the newer stuff doesn't. It's just, it might not be the stuff that's being pushed to you by Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
But I've seen some snoozers that came out in the 90s, and I've seen some snoozers that came out like last year.
Ooh, so name these snoozers here.
Dominion Tank Police.
That's a snoozer, do you?
Yep.
Yo, you got some hot takes, boy.
And I did not like it all that much. I was like, ooh, this is, I don't know how I managed to sit through it, because I watched it while I was drawing. And sometimes when I'm like interested in something and I'm watching something while drawing, because like I watch it in English,
right?
Sometimes I'll go back to make sure I understood what was happening. I had zero interest in doing that while watching. Okay. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. This is up here, but I can't Can't get into it. Um,
Yeah,
Another snoozer, and I'm just gonna give it another chance because it could be very well because they had it for free on YouTube,
yeah,
and the subtitles, whatever reason, the sound design on it was just not it. The subtitles were not linking up with what they were actually saying in English.
yeah.
Because it was a series or it was a thing that I knew I could watch in English and I would still get the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. But it was still boring to me, so I shut it off. Ghost in the Shell. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
Whoa, hold up. The series or the movie?
The movie.
The OG movie?
Yep.
Oh.
I know. I wanted to love it so bad. And I was just like, I'm trying. I was actively trying to pay attention. And I'm like, this is boring. What the hell? So
Oh my gosh.
I was so mad. I'm like, it could have just been me. And this was like a few months ago. It could have just been me.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna give it another chance at a later date. But because I was just on a movie watching Sprint that day. So I watched like 5 different things. So from like animation from like all over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like this. So I just turned it off.
Wow.
Like, we're gonna give it another shot later. But right now, no.
Man. Wow. So, you know, one thing I will say though, a negative like on the older animation style, like the dub sometimes don't hit. Like it's
But I like that.
yeah.
I like it when the dub doesn't hit. When a dub
Yeah.
isn't strong, I feel like, again, that's just what you can expect from this stuff. But prime example with that though, Outlaw Star, I think it's something I have to watch in Japanese because it's an instance of the dub just taking me out of it. I didn't yeah, I got through I think like 12 episodes of it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like it either. I was like, this isn't it.
Wait a minute, you don't like Outlaw Star or you didn't like the dub?
Outlaw Star. I don't like Outlaw Star.
Oh my god. You hit me in the chest, Caleb. You hit me in the chest.
Again, I have to give
I literally had Gene Starwind on my wall. Like you can't see him, but he's like right over there.
I know. My boyfriend, he's much more like Outlaw Star is cooler than Gene Starwind's a better character than Spike Spiegel, and I'm like, in what world? But whatever. I'm a Cowboy Bebop girl, and he is a Outlaw Star boy.
Okay.
It's a very, very tense situation. Very tense situation. At all.
So I was introduced to Outlaw Star first. Before Cowboy Bebop. But I will say this though, I do love and respect Cowboy Bebop. I even have the movie, and Spike Spiegel's on my wall. Like when you coming up the stairs, it's like Spike Spiegel and Vast Stampede, like in a gunfight.
Right.
So I got them like on the wall. So I will say, Cowboy Bebop hits a different type of audience, because it's a little bit more grounded in that sense, but Outlaw Star is more adventurous. Like, you know, you see a story progress and you see actual alien tech or old magic being used and stuff like that, like the whole lore of Outlaw Star. I gravitated to that a little bit more. However, I do know Cowboy Bebop was one of the GOATs. Like that's just what it is. It is what it is. And when you talk about space westerns, like as far as anime is concerned, you got you got Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, and Gun X Sword, and that's it. You know, but dang, you didn't like Outlaw Star. Was it the dub that just keep taking you out? Did you watch any Japanese?
I'm willing to, because I feel like and this is something that's so silly to me, because it's like how the media is presented to you should not, to me, if your story is strong enough, how the media is presented to you does not matter.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. Right. But watching it gave me, this is what somebody thinks anime is.
Yeah.
Somebody who's never seen it before. If you had to sit down, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draw an anime character really quickly. I'm gonna draw one of these characters.
Yeah.
Outlaw Star. When we think of weird anime as like this really weird thing, we think of Outlaw Star. That's what it is for me. And
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with that. I love a wide gamut of anime content, but it's just something about Outlaw Star that just was not clicking. Because I went into it wanting to love it. I was eager. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna watch this thing. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be wonderful. And I just could not. I couldn't. I'm like, this ain't it.
Man, I gotta get you back, man. I gotta get you back.
I am willing to do it again because I felt the
Yeah.
same way about Evangelion. It took me. I made the same amount of progress in Evangelion, and I hated it the whole time. And then we got past that point, and it's like one of my favorite series of all time.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
It took me getting past episode 9 for Evangelion for it to be like, oh, this is really good. And then it just kept.
It kept progressing. It kept jumping up.
Whereas with Outlaw Star, like so much happens in those first few episodes, right?
Yeah.
But even then, I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I don't know what it is. And I was so gung-ho. I was ready to be in love. And
yeah.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. See, I be very careful, like when I like introduce anime to people, I try not to oversell it, like to overhype it, because now you get put in a headspace where this is going to be the greatest thing ever, that kind of thing.
Right. And I don't need it to be.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you just go check it out. It's good, and I try to keep it at that. And I fail sometimes. I'm not even gonna hold you, but like with me, with Outlaw Star, like it's the whole adventure aspect of it. Like I was able to follow it. The animation is what caught me too, because it was hand drawn and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, I really do love this. And you're right, a lot of stuff did transpire in the first few episodes, but the narrator, come to find out, the narrator, Bo Billingsley, he's the same voice for Jet Black and Outlaw Star. So, and he's also from South Carolina. So,
okay,
yeah, I had some years ago, he was on my show, and we were just talking and rapping, and that's how I found out he was from Charleston. So, the narration part of it kind of, the way the narrator talks before the intro music hits, it kind of puts you, if you really pay attention, it puts you in the mindset of what's going to transpire in that episode. It's like, but I wouldn't say he says it in riddles, but he says it as a life lesson, if that makes sense. Or a lesson or whatever. A boy has a right to dream, that kind of thing.
Right.
Because Gene Starlin had a dream of being in space, but his dad died right in front of him.
Opportunity, he was puking and throwing up because he was too nervous to go up. I'm like, that's stupid. I don't.
Yeah. But he had PTSD. Now the man saw his dad die.
He had
his
PTSD.
face.
He had PTSD. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You can't just be like, because the last time he been in space, literally his dad was gone. His dad died.
He's supposed to be this cool, calm, collected, neato guy. He's vomiting when he gets on a plane.
But okay.
If I wanted that level of character depth, I need to get it from every other character as well. And I'm not getting it from every other character.
But you will though. You will though, because there are episodes that goes in depth with each character. Like Jim, Twilight Suzuka, Aisha Clan, like the whole crew. Like there are in-depth stories to each of those characters. And also, since it's no longer on Cartoon Network, there was an episode that was banned from Toonami, and it did not air. And and that episode is where you find out those castor shells come from and how they are made. But it's super fan servicey though. I will say that.
Okay, and I mean that's fine. That's to be expected.
Yeah, it's a hot spring episode. So
that episode. Okay, but that doesn't bother me too much. So I am willing to give Outlaw Star a second chance. I really am. Because I made him get through the entirety of Cowboy Bebop, and he still just didn't like it.
What? But, not liking Cowboy Bebop. That's a foul. Yeah, I'm with him with the Outlaw Star, man. But you got to put some respect on Cowboy Bebop now.
And he understands, but it's just wasn't his thing, and that I get. It's just not your thing. Completely, you have to get the whole thing in order to understand that it's not really for you. Which is why I'm willing to give Outlaw Star a second chance. Yeah. But as of right now.
Samurai Champloo too. That's another one.
Samurai Champloo is fantastic. It's really, really good. So that okay, so but if you want to think about things that are kind of in line with Outlaw Star and things that I actually enjoyed, Space Dandy.
Oh,
To
He's a
me, that's
dandy guy.
in space. It's perfect. It's the
Yeah.
perfect little series. It's like it's self-contained. It's not more than what it needs to be. Just like Outlaw Star. It's not more than what it needs to be. There's not a bunch of stuff coming after it. There's not like a whole merchandise line or anything like that.
Yeah.
It has the aesthetics of Outlaw Star with the futuristic fun space gadgets and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's grounded like Cowboy Bebop.
Space Dandy is?
That's what I think, yeah.
Really? You know, he died a couple times in that series.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, okay. But you came to understand why that was the case at the end of the series.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird series, but there are episodes where it's like, this is just a character study.
True. You know what? You're gonna make me watch Space Dandy again.
It's really good.
Watch Space Dandy.
I again saw it once, and I'm like, it's perfect. Top 10 favorite series. It's perfect. I only need to see it once.
Okay, so still while you drawing. Okay, sports anime. Is there any particular sports anime that you watched and you actually liked?
For the little bit of Slam Dunk I saw, I did like it.
Okay.
I just didn't keep up with it. But the only other active like sport anime I've ever really seen and sat down and got through the majority of it, because they keep coming out with new stuff, was Free.
Oh, the swimming one.
Yes, that was the one I kept up with like crazy, because it was like I was in high school, so
yeah,
sport anime with pretty boys, that was the whole thing at the time. So I liked it a lot, but they keep coming out with new content for it, and I'm like, I don't care enough to keep up. They were cool. They're really cool young men, but I don't care enough to keep up with what they got going on. But I know everyone's talking about Haikyuu. I've never seen Haikyuu.
Yeah, people are super high on that, and I have watched some of it. The animation is really good, but I got 2 sports anime you should watch outside of Haikyuu.
Which 2?
One, Hajime no Ippo.
I've heard of that.
Yes,
I have heard of that. Yeah, that's one day. I'm like, it's gonna happen one of these days. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, ma'am, I'm here to tell you, it is on Netflix right now. The first, the fighting is on there, which is like the first 70 something episodes, and it's gritty. It's old animation style. So, and it's a boxing anime, and you know, it's about this kid. I won't say he gets bullied or anything like that, but you know, his mom is a fisherman. You know, he goes fishing with his mom and stuff like that. And he goes into this boxing gym, long story short. And they found out that he has a knack for boxing. And they start training him and putting him in these matches. And these matches are the training sessions makes you want to go out and work out. That's what I want to do. Really good. Can't oversell it enough. That's probably like the best sports anime, like bar none. The next one is Kuroko no Basket.
I tried. I didn't like it.
What? You didn't like Kuroko no Basket with the 5 miracles?
Yeah, I didn't like it all that much. It was just something about it. Again, something about it was not captivating me. I'm like, I'd rather be watching Slam Dunk.
Slam Dunk. Is it because Slam Dunk is like more grounded, realistic type?
Maybe I just like, I think I was just like with Slam Dunk, I kind of like the characters more.
Yeah.
I think that was it. But I know people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, she has all these opinions, but she really likes GT over Super. So I'm trying not to go too crazy with the hot takes.
Nah, look, this is your show right here, man. Like, nah, you gotta let that thing go. You gotta let it rip. Because, I mean, but see, you do, when you say it, you say, hey, this is my hot take on this. But you say why you feel this way. And I think that what most people, you know, I wouldn't say mess up at, but you know, with TikToks and stuff like that, they'll say, oh, well, somebody actually said Dragon Ball Z was trash. So like somebody actually said that. Like it was dumpster juice.
But they're not. It's like, all right.
I was like, yo, you about to get flamed. And they never said why. They just said, nah, it's just what it is. I'm like, okay, you just trying to troll, just give views. But so I should have asked you this before. For you, what makes a good anime?
think it could have.
Oh, well, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, still broken up.
I'm not too.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure. I was like, oh, that's weird, but yeah. So to answer your question, because I do more like character design and stuff like that, I gotta care about these characters.
Yes.
Like, if someone is just here to service the plot, that's boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing wrong with plot-centered stories. I think that's fine. But when people watch stories that are more plot-driven and then say, oh, I really like the characters because they're so deep. And it's like, no. It's not. You can't have both. You can rarely have both. And there are rarely any anime specifically that will give you both.
Yeah.
That's not just drama for the sake of there being drama, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I'm much more of a fan of like slice of life and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So slice of life stories where it's just like people going about their day to day. Like Wotakoi. Wotakoi is a perfect example.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening in that series, but I want to see these dorks fall in love.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And I love watching that. But there's another series that does something similar. It's like two scientists try to calculate what love actually is and what it means to actually be in love with somebody. That I didn't have much of an interest in. I got a few episodes into it, and I'm just like, they're trying to give this thing plot.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want plot. I just want to see two people fall in love.
Okay.
So I'm much more like, if you're character driven, that's a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Or if you're character driven and you're sticking to that.
Yeah.
Or if you're plot driven and you're just gonna stick to being plot driven, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But a good example of something that does both really well, in my opinion, and it's a movie, but I'm gonna use it. Godzilla -1.
Uh-huh.
That is a great example of both plot and character driven.
Yeah. Yeah.
The overarching theme of, we need to handle this. Why is this so important to you? That both balance each other very well, I think, in that movie.
Yeah.
So that's for me the biggest thing. I love character driven, which is why I prefer Cowboy Bebop over Outlaw Star. Mm-hmm. But I can admit that Cowboy Bebop can be a little dry and boring at times, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because I just want to know more about these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially like, Spike and, Vicious, it's like, what's the story behind those two? And I mean, -1 is a perfect example of that, because I love Godzilla -1. It's like, it put a lot of emphasis on the characters, which you don't see a whole lot of when it comes to Godzilla movies, especially the Japanese one.
Right.
And now that it's on Netflix, it was like #1, like moving through.
Right. It deserves every ounce of it.
Exactly. And there's some people that I introduced it to. There was like, it looked like a B movie. I'm like, well, it's Japanese, it's not Americanized. The budget is not as big to make a movie like this. But this, like, with the budget that they had, I feel like they delivered like by miles. You know what I mean? Right. So to the point where we asking for a sequel. So
yeah. Exactly. They set it up for a perfect one too. Like, normally with sequel setups, I never like them.
Yeah.
I never like them. But with this, I'm just kind of like, oh, are we gonna actually get this? Because we were supposed to get one with Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
And they never did. But I like how they ended Shin Godzilla, because like, yeah, we could give you a sequel.
Mm-hmm. But do we want to give you a sequel?
Exactly. You know what was going to happen. You saw what happened right at the end. You can assume it was going to go from there. And then it's like, okay, I would like to see it, but whatever.
Just to see it transpire.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm not too mad at it. We still got an amazing movie out of -1. So
Oh yeah.
Not too upset at all.
So is this Gohan or this is the original Saiyan character?
This is gonna be Jace.
Oh, you drawing Jace? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let me zoom out. Hang on. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm with that. I'm with that.
So I'm trying to speed through my lines. Like the sketch never takes me any time, but it's the lines that always trip me up a little bit. But it's gonna be okay if they're not super clean.
Yeah.
Because like my green makes up for that. So I try to, or I think makes up for that. I'm gonna try to. I had this idea. It was gonna be just a close up of his face.
Uh-huh.
But I gotta keep in mind, like, I'm hoping to sell this, so I need to keep composition in mind and everything like that. But it's gonna be Jace looking at Vegeta. So if I can get to it, it's gonna be like a silhouette of Vegeta in his scouter.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm gonna try to be quick with it though. Now that I'm past the body, well, now that I'm past like the head, it'll be nice and easy, nice and smooth to get through. That's the goal.
So on the Ginyu Force, like, do you have a favorite Ginyu?
I really don't. Like, I liked the Ginyu Force well enough, but the dancing thing was a little too much for me. I was like, I get it, but y'all gonna do this every time?
You got to. You got to strike a pose before you go do some killing.
Like, I'm with it. Like, as a JoJo fan, like, I'm with it, but I'm just like,
so okay. Now you spoke of JoJo. So, do you have Araki's book? Like,
I do.
Okay.
It's somewhere behind me, but I do have it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it as well. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. How did you feel about that artistically?
Artistically, it's fantastic. It changed my brain when I first saw it the first time. I saw it first my senior year of high school. Because people were posting. I don't know how it came across my page, but I was really active on Tumblr back in the day.
Yeah.
So people were posting manga scans, but like editing them to be stupid from part 8. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but it's really cool. So the Anime Expo that year, hoping to be able to talk to more people about it because it was something that was completely brand new to me. And that same year, I started going to the Art Institute. And there were people, and I didn't know that the anime for it had just premiered. So people were, well, that's not true. I knew of the anime, but I didn't know that other people were watching it. And so when it became a meme, I'm like, oh, I know what this is, yada, yada, yada. So it was really fun getting into it. I love JoJo.
What's your favorite arc?
Part 4.
Is that Stardust Crusaders, right?
That is part 3.
Is that part 3?
Yes.
No, so 4 is Diamond is Unbreakable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so that's my favorite one. I got my dad into it because I was watching part 5 at his place, like around the time when it come out. And so he was in the kitchen, he wasn't really doing nothing. But of course, the ending theme came on, which is Freaking You by Jodeci.
Yes.
And he was singing along with it. He was like, what are you watching? And he came in the room. I was like, oh, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And he's like, huh. And then it's been a downward spiral.
See, Jodeci Carter is like, wait. Because I think Golden Wind was set in the 90s.
Yes.
In Italy. And it was like romanticism and stuff like that. So it's like, that was it. Now, when you first heard that ending theme, did it throw you off at all?
Yeah, because I didn't know what they were going to do. Because I was like, okay, cool, Savage Garden for part 4. For like the entirety of part 4. I was like, okay, neato. We like that. No big deal.
Yeah.
But I remember for the first episode, it didn't have an ending theme. So we were like, okay, cool. It was just like a continuation of it was like the whole episode all the way through. Whatever.
Yeah.
So the next week came on. I screamed. I'm like, are you joking right now?
Yeah.
Is this a gag? Nope. and it continued on through like the rest of the half of the series.
I'm like, whoa, did you?
Being for real, Jodeci.
So for me, Stardust Crusaders is what got me into JoJo in the first place. And reading Araki's book, because I'm pretty sure you read that from cover to cover. The theme that he was looking for, for people that didn't know in the audience, is that he was a Clint Eastwood fan. So if you look at Stardust Crusaders, it was very Clint Eastwood like, very Western like, as far as how the characters were portrayed. And I know he explained why, I forgot what it was. He explained why he switched from Harmon use to Stan use, being the constant. But I'm in hearing Steel Ball Run is goated. I
hear that too. I hear that too. I've been meaning to just read that on its own.
Yeah.
But I don't have much time, unfortunately, these days. But I hear Steel Ball Run is like, that's where it's at. You want peak JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you gotta go to Steel Ball Run. Yeah. And I did get the video game though when it came out. The fighting game. Now the 2D fighter that's on Dreamcast, I have that. But the one that came out that was for PS3, but they actually re-released it. You can get it on Game Pass. I forgot the battle. It's called Battle R or something like that. But it's basically a fighting game, but you can call stands, and you got characters from each season. Not just on TV, but manga as well. So you got Steel Ball Run characters as well. So, and there is a Steel Ball Run character that I use, and he puts in work. So, but All is my go-to though. Is it Gyro or Diego?
It's not Diego. He throws dice. He has he throws like a blanket down, and you disappear, and it's something crazy. And I want to say he's an antagonist. But I'm not 100% on that.
Man, I used to know, like, even though I had never read it, I used to know their names well enough because you would see cosplayers.
Yeah.
That part. So I was like, oh, you're so and so. But it's been so long since I've seen some crazy JoJo cosplays.
Yeah.
I get a lot of Jolene's that come up to my booths and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Stone Ocean.
Right. Jolene's and Caculines. Get a lot of them.
Huh. Okay.
Which the girls love Caculine, so I get it.
How did you feel about the storytelling of JoJo's? Like from part 1 to, was it part 6? Yeah, part 6.
So it's very weird. Like, so how earlier where I described how earlier I described Outlaw Star as being like, when you think of anime, this is anime.
Yeah.
This is what normal people think of as anime. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is what anime fans think of. How do I describe it? It's like how we would have perceived anime back in the day. As weird extra thing. That's how we would have, like, that being as weird as it is, that's how we would have perceived it.
Right.
Is that weird anime we saw when we were younger that got us into anime.
Right.
That's the I can think of to describe it. Because it's not called JoJo's Normal Adventure. So why would it be anything but weird?
Some people was like, I didn't understand the ending. I was like, well, I really did understand it. It took me a minute though. I'm not even gonna hold you. I had, after the last episode was shown for Stone Ocean, I sat down for a second. I had to think, and I'm like, let me rewatch this. So ever since the beginning, like from Phantom Blood, Dio and JoJo family line, they were always fated to be in this constant battle with each other. Like, there's constant tragedy that always happens. Someone close always dies. It's like, even with Dio no longer being there, they still they still got issues going on.
Right.
It's like forever. There's followers of Dio, and you got to stop the followers. And Dio had a son, and he's not as like Dio is. So in a way, it felt like Dio had a ideal that, you know, if we are successful in doing this, we're no longer slated to be pitted against each other. Which honestly and truly, Dio won in the end.
Right.
Because you know, Jolene don't know anything about the, you know, the forever feud that was Dio and JoJo. Like they're free to live their lives. So I mean, in essence, it was a happy ending.
Yeah, it was the best ending you could have got.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It's that everyone had to die, but it's just like, you know, it is what it is. It's a resetting of the timeline, if you will. So it's like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to be.
It is what
I do want the original animation for JoJo Bizarre Adventure, like Stardust Crusaders. Like, you know, there was like the hand drawn animation type.
Yeah, the OVA that they did
Yes.
for oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want that. And I cannot. Cannot. Gotta get my hands on that.
I don't know where, because I know everyone, they just pushed the newer anime, so I have no idea where you could get the other one, because I don't know the studio that did the other one.
Yeah.
So was it? I can't think of the studio. Like, my studio names for like back then are just non-existent. I can't think of anybody. But yeah, JoJo, love it. Love it, love it.
That is dope. It took me a minute to realize what you were drunk, because I like, you know, because his hair is similar to like Gohan's, like when it was long and he had that ponytail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trying to get it to a good point to where I can start laying down some flat. Even if the flats and the shadows are rough, it'll still look like a finished image. I'm just trying to get it to that point before you have to go. I'm happy I didn't do Kimberly, because that would have taken up way too much time.
Kimberly is a very awesome looking character. I still need to play with her. I have played with her, but you know, like master her style.
Right, yeah. I know from what I hear, she's not like is she like the easiest to pick up, or is it like?
You can pick her up pretty easy, like, but you know, like to truly master her, because she can confuse you. She moves around like Vega. That's how she moves around. You know, Vega used to like jump around and be real quick, and you got to know how to track him. Kimberly is sort of kind of the same way. She catch you in something, it's kind of hard to get out of.
Got you. Okay. That's wild.
I do like Jamie too. Jamie's
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Aki well enough. It's just something about her. Like, I like her hair. Her hair is sick.
Yeah.
Her hair really sick. But it's something about her that makes me like not want to like her all that much, because it's something about her design. I just really don't. I don't know how to describe it. She just feels. But there is a new outfit that they gave her that I think is really cool. Like, I guess it was like part of the DLC pack or something like that. But it doesn't feel like her. It doesn't feel like something that she would wear.
What about Cammy?
Cammy looks sick. I like how she looks. I love the jacket.
Oh, the British jacket that she has, and the cat that she always feeds.
I love how they traded the ponytails or like the pigtails for the parts of her jacket, or is it her pants? She has like two.
Yeah, her pants changed. She wears a jacket now. I think she cut her hair. She cut her hair so it's short. So
she cut her hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So she got like the two bangs like in front.
Okay, yeah. But there's an aspect on her new design where they replaced the two pieces that they cut off with they replaced her hair that got cut off with something else that was on her design. And I'm like, and that's how you retain iconic character design.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. This is how you do it. So that was really sick. But to see all the new designs are cool.
There's a kid that I want in the Street Fighter 6 that was in Third Strike. His name escapes me, but he was, I think Ken was training him.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Dang it.
Name escapes me right now.
His sister was in Street Fighter 5, right?
Yes. His sister was. Yeah.
Sean,
that's it. Sean. I want him in Street Fighter 6 because I feel like he can do some damage. I mean, he was a little unorthodox because obviously he's like a newer type character. He's just not learning, that style of fight. But I feel like do like an updated version of Sean.
Right. That would be cool. That would be really cool.
And considering how long Street Fighter 5 is, lasted over the years, I mean, I feel like it's going to be several DLCs before they even be a mention of Street Fighter 7. So,
right, exactly.
Now, Mortal Kombat 1 is dead in the water. So, to me,
fair. Okay, we got what we wanted out of it, and now it's.
So, like the single player, like you cannot beat that single player campaign. Like it's so cinematic. It's like you playing a movie. It's really good, well thought out. I think as far as like the gameplay side of it, it's cool, but I don't think it's gonna. It's not gonna hold weight against like Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8, especially Tekken 8. Like Tekken 8 is gorgeous. And just the way the characters look and how cinematic it is, and it has, sustainability. But I know Mortal Kombat is definitely one of the big three of the franchises or whatever. But I don't know. SNK is creeping up there. They got Fatal Fury coming out, City of the Wolves, early 2025. Ew. Not to mention Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Cannot wait.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole thing. Which
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's going to be a hot mess. So you know what? I'm happy for everybody though. I'm happy for people who actively enjoy fighting games. They're going to be eating really good for a little bit.
Yes. We are full. The plate is full, especially with Sparking Zero. Like, going back to the Budokai Tenkaichi deal, it's like some all-nighters about to get put in. I already know.
I feel you. I don't know. Maybe I'll take the time to learn how to be. Once I have some spare time, maybe I'll take the time to learn how to be good at those games.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see. I think I'm literally almost there with this line art. Oh my goodness. My friends keep commenting on my speed.
Like, as far as what way?
Like, how quickly I get fully rendered pieces out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you guys, no. Please don't tell me that. I'm going to think I can knock out whole pieces, like 3 whole pieces in a day. And I could. Very well could. But that's not... it's not sane. It's not healthy. It's not manageable. I'm going to keep doing that.
I don't think a lot of people like realize, especially with manga artists, especially back in the day, like how tough that lifestyle is. That's like one of the hardest jobs to take on and stay healthy.
Exactly.
Prime example, Tagashi for Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Him being alive is crazy. I'm just like, dude.
Yeah, his wife is taking very good care of him.
Yeah. I mean, technically, she doesn't have to work another day in her life. So
nah, she got Sailor Moon in the bag, man.
Exactly. So she's like,
matter of fact, there's another movie coming out. It's a movie coming out on Netflix. So it's like,
and they're doing the Sailor Moon Super S series, I think, as a whole movie, as opposed to doing
like a series.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, that's an option. But again, Sailor Moon Crystal, when that came out, I was super excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to watch again, and I didn't like that either. I was just like, But that was also because, despite the hype, the animation quality was just bad. It was really bad starting out. So
yeah,
it's a lot better now because it's like, you're Sailor Moon. And this is Toei Animation. Y'all don't have the money to put some time into this. You get it.
Yeah.
Your episodes are coming out every 2 weeks as opposed to every week.
Yeah.
You have the time to make this look good. Make it look good. And they heard the feedback. And it looks good now.
Oh.
Okay.
So for the listeners out there, this is the first live drawing. So this is so cool to see this. Like from start to finish, like the outlines being made and everything. Like never seen like digital art like being created from start to finish. That's crazy.
Thank you. So I'm gonna try to fudge this next piece a little bit because it's green skies and blue grass. It's something that always trips me out whenever I do a scene, draw a scene with a man. And normally I don't really worry about background colors before moving into actual main colors.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And I'm not going to do anything different than I wouldn't do today. So we're going to just move to his actual colors first. Because I'm always like, okay, I'm going to keep in mind the environment when I'm doing this. And I end up not.
Yeah.
I end up not. Like, we're not going to worry about local colors or all that jazz today. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. So this piece is the easy piece. I can knock this out. No hesitation. As long as I remember what Jace's color to wear.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, see, I got that Funko Pop.
Of course.
Like the top.
Oh, and I already got a part wrong. His neck isn't red. Darn it. Yeah, he's got his uniform goes all the way up to his neck.
Yeah, everything on him is like orange and except for his eyes. Pretty much. But yeah, Jake, like far as like Jace is concerned, like Jace is my favorite Ginyu. I mean, even though he got washed by Vegeta. I mean, Vegeta, no. Like, yeah. You're gonna die, man.
Yeah, you're not gonna survive this, baby. It's okay.
And people was like, yeah, Vegeta got washed in that Namek. I'm like, how, man? He caught so many bodies in Namek. Let me see. He killed Berta. He killed Jace. He killed Raccoon. He killed Kui. He killed Daria. He killed Zarbon. It's like he caught bodies.
Yeah, like this was just another day for him. So it was.
Right.
It's funny though because it's like you look at it like that. He was just waiting for the opportunity to do that. He could have done that at any moment, clearly.
Yeah.
But he waited till now to be able to do it because he saw he had a chance to knock it out.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But
like the Daria and Kui, no easy kills. Like Zarbon threw him for a loop. It caught him off guard because he didn't know Zarbon could transform. And you know, and then Zarbon thought I can just continuously beat him. He will never beat me, not knowing that Saiyans get stronger at the point of death. So, Vegeta had to course correct and handle that situation. Raccoon beat him within an inch of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back and Goku was like, yeah, you might want to get these guys some help. Vegeta's like, damn the help. I'm gonna help him.
Exactly.
I'm gonna send him to the next world real quick. Vegeta, that's unnecessary. He said, bruh, let me holler at you real quick, dog. let me holler at you. These right here are killers. These are intergalactic killers. They ain't me. They will kill your son and don't blink.
Without hesitation.
Yeah, that's easy.
Program. Get with the program. You know where you are.
He's like, we spared you, Vegeta. And like, well, you know, you idiot for that. But, you know, whatever.
That was stupid.
That was stupid.
And now you're going to learn how dumb of a choice that was. But yeah, no, it's perfect. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I haven't asked you this. So, Dragon Ball Z movies. Which one?
Expertise lies.
You said that's not what?
That's not where my expertise lies, unfortunately.
What Dragon Ball Z movies you have seen?
I have seen Fusion Reborn.
Okay.
And I think that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. The Dragon Ball superhero movie.
Okay. All right.
And I think that's it.
Okay. So, all right. So you haven't seen Dead Zone?
I have not seen Dead Zone.
World's Strongest?
No.
Tree of Might?
No.
Legendary Super Saiyan? Broly?
A long time ago, but yes.
Okay, that's on the list. Cooler's Revenge?
I haven't seen either of any of the Cooler movies.
So for me, one of my favorites, well, my top ones: World's Strongest, Tree of Might, Cooler's Revenge, Legendary Super Saiyan. I did like Fusion Reborn. I did like that.
You did.
Huh?
Fusion Reborn is like Fusion Reborn feels like the one you have to see.
Yeah.
That's
Fusion Reborn is tight. It's cool. Cooler's Revenge is, man, I really do love Cooler's Revenge, man. Mm-hmm. I wish Cooler was canon. That's the thing.
Well, if they give the fans what they want, he might very well be.
True. I think right now, since Akira Toriyama's passing, I'm like,
that's true.
Yeah, I like. It's kind of that ship has sailed.
I'm not gonna fight nothing. Exactly. I'm not gonna fight
it. As far as like he's on the game, I'm cool with that. I can play when I'm on the game, and then I have the movie Cooler's Revenge where he put in that work, man.
Right.
So.
Right. One of these days, I don't know what it is with me in the movies. I was just like, for someone who loves like non-canon content.
Yeah.
I never indulged in the movies for real. Yeah,
because that is definitely non-canon content.
Yeah.
Because like back then when you was watching it, like especially when I was watching it, I'm trying to put the pieces together. Like at what point in time did Tien, Yamcha, and everybody and Chaozu came back to fight a Saiyan named Turles?
Right.
So, which I did like Turles too. I did like Turles as well.
Fun times. I just never watched.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is Jace.
He's coming together.
Oh, wait. Like, yeah. Well, he's covering up the Ginyu symbol. I like that.
Oh yeah. I gotta add that. That was the thing I was gonna add on at the end, and I can just remember. Let me find a good reference picture for it. Okay.
That is dope.
You have to do it like in perspective.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite moments, I think who was it? It was Berta and Raccoon. They was betting on Goldo and they was betting chocolate. He just reached in his arm and like, hey, here you go. I bet you this, that you can. I mean, they gave us that false sense of security when Krillin and Gohan was just torturing Goldo, and then Goldo was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna catch him all. I'm gonna catch him slipping." And then Vegeta was like, "Listen, y'all better be sharp about this, man." Oh, I forgot. That's another body that he caught. Like Vegeta killed. Wait, hold on now. Did Vegeta kill the entire Ginyu Force? Because I think he killed Captain Ginyu and Super.
He did kill Guido. He did kill Birder and Raccoon and Jake. So yeah, virtually.
Yeah, I want to say he killed Captain Ginyu too. Because Captain Ginyu turned into a frog, but he got transferred to Earth, and he was on Earth for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he did kill Captain Ginyu. Because Captain Ginyu ended up transferring his soul to another body in Super. And he confronts Vegeta and Goku, and Vegeta make quick work of him. That's what it was.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Vegeta was like, nah, I'm gonna end you. See, that's why you gotta watch Super. That's why you gotta watch Super, man. Frieza comes back, got Wish back, actually. Yeah, you gotta watch Super. You gotta see what happens. Now, granted, it's not as gritty as Dragon Ball Z, and I think that's my critique, and I'm a stand on that. It's not as gritty or bloody as Z is, but
right.
We're in new times.
It doesn't need to be.
I feel like it does, though, man. It gotta have some kind of, but it is an old animation style, so I get it. So, okay. One of my last questions while you finishing up. So, is there any other like other future aspirations that you have? Because you have your own comic and stuff like that, or do you have aspirations on creating your own webtoon? Or
so I kind of sort of have one right now. I have two technically. Okay. One of them is a slice of life that I did forever ago, like dumb happenings with my boyfriend and stuff like that we joke about. Other one is one chapter of a story I did for the Call to Action contest they did a couple of years ago with my character 5 Point.
Oh, okay.
So that is available on Webtoon. If you look up the name, Jake and Mikayla, or if you go on my Instagram, the link to it should be under my link tree in my bio.
And that's her Instagram handle right up top.
Yes.
MKYNART.
Yes. If you look it up, watch it there, you can definitely see it there. I am in the process of remaking it. I don't know if I'll have time to redo it before. I want to have it redone, at least that one redone. Before I go to a convention I'm working at the end of August. I think I told you about it, Atlantic Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will be debuting there. Well, one comic I'm working on right now will be debuting there, but if I can get the 5 Point series redone, hopefully that will be properly debuting there too. But I don't think I'll have enough time for both.
Yeah.
You will see though.
That is great. That's great. Now, is there any other anime that you looking forward to watching in the future?
I want to get caught back up on Mashal.
Yo, so do I. I have to.
It's really good. I liked it when I was watching it. I was like, okay, it's simple, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't take itself too seriously, so I'm gonna let it rock.
It's like Harry Potter, in a way.
Literally, yeah, like Harry Potter, but I was never a big fan of Harry Potter. So, again, hot take. Like, even as I was able to get into it on my own, because we weren't part of the faith anymore. So I could have gotten into it, and I tried. I tried. Won't happening. But
see, that's the thing, though. You gave it a good old college try. Like, you didn't just like brush it off just because you actually tried.
Exactly. But
so
I don't know. One of these days, enough people were bugging me about it growing up, and they're like, "You gotta give it a shot." And I did. I did. But I think the Harry Potter feel kind of turned me off the Mashal a little bit as well. But I love that little boy. He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like he talks as his muscles to give himself a pep talk. That's so ridiculous. Like this.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. I'm like, you know what? I love him. He's my son. I love that dumb little boy. This green sky is really tripping me up. Just wanted to get that out of the way before we ended the stream today. The sky. If I can do that, we're doing good. There we go. Because I know the colors on Namek are like we were talking about earlier. The colors are beautiful. So like and how they did the skies and everything like that. How everything was like very pretty watercolor feel to it. It's always gorgeous. Fake some mountains and some grass real quick. This is probably the best live drawing I think I've ever done.
Really? Oh, all it took was just you doing, doing a live one. That's it. That's all it took.
I was so scared. I'm like, please let this look good when I'm on the phone with this man. I'm on. I just needed it to look okay. It didn't need to be perfect. I just needed it to be okay.
Right.
I'm gonna take some brown for the dirt. The mountains and stuff that are behind them. I might go back later and put Vegeta in his scouter. But right now, we're gonna go just like that. Oh, not that. Not that. So I wanted to go like this. And this is a good way to fake your stuff looking like really good.
Yeah.
You duplicate your line. You color your lines, and you duplicate them. And then you blur the duplicate a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna read very well. How blurred it is.
Oh, that looks really gritty. I like that.
Okay, yeah. And then you set that, you take your layer mode and you set that to linear burn. And you turn it down somewhat. Just somewhat. I'm going to do what's the time? 2:48? I'm going to try something crazy. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
What you going to try?
Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and merge these two. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to go ahead. I don't know what that is and get rid of it. I'm going to do this so fast. Because all it is just shapes. All your shadows and everything like that, it's all just shapes.
Yeah.
I know my shapes, I think. I think. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. Just a little bit. So that way your people can see a finished product. Or semi-finished product.
And what's the program that you use?
This is Clip Studio Paint.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of fun layer modes. A lot of control. You have a lot of control when you use a lot of layers and stuff like that. There are a lot of people who use Procreate. And I think Procreate can be really good. It's just for me personally, it's too limited.
Yeah.
So with Clip Studio, you can use like as many layers as you want. Or as many layers as you need, honestly. Yeah. But with Procreate, depending on the size of your canvas, like if you go to open an image to draw on, you can't use you can only use but so many layers. Yeah. And that's the restrictions with the iPad and everything like that. So it keeps that in mind, which is really good. And I never use a lot of layers anyway.
Yeah.
But you're not going to tell me how many I can and can't use.
Yeah.
I'm hard headed in that way. Oops, that's not what I wanted either. But yeah, very easy. This is much more in the Dragon Ball style. I normally don't draw in that style very often. I'm gonna keep it more to what I like to do. But the Dragon Ball style was very influential for me growing up. So it's my go-to when I'm just trying to knock something out.
Yeah. And this is on your computer, right? So you draw on your iPad as well?
I do draw on my iPad as well when I'm traveling, and I'll use Clip Studio Paint on my iPad. Only downside with that is that's like a $9 a month subscription, which is okay. Like I can afford it right now. But if you don't want to pay a subscription price, then I will use Procreate. Pay for that once.
Okay.
You'll be set. But yeah, I use Clip Studio Paint on my iPad as well. It's just I hate drawing on my iPad.
Yeah.
I'll use it for while I'm traveling, but it can be tedious because it's such a small screen. So.
Yeah.
Not to knock it. Anybody else who wants to, but just ain't for me. Actually, I'm gonna focus on his upper body. That way we can have a nice close shot. I'll give a nice closing shot, and then I'll do some fake rendering on the outside. I promise everybody I do cleaner. I do cleaner shadows.
Oh, nah, this looks amazing. Just seeing it in real time, just.
Thank you. But this was fun. I had a lot of fun with this.
This won't be the last time.
Next time I won't do something as ambitious as a full rendered piece. But this is great because I need more Dragon Ball stuff in my booth anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, because a lot of people are like, well, you have this whole thing about not drawing things you don't care about. You care about Dragon Ball. You got nothing Dragon Ball at your table. I'm like, well,
yeah.
What more can I do?
That and JoJo, like some of the stuff that you really really like.
Right. So I have an idea for a JoJo poster. That's gonna be it's gonna be the original 8, but now that there's 9, throw me off a little bit. But it was gonna be them kind of lined up with or mimicking the Earth, Wind, and Fire album cover.
Oh yeah.
It's the one. It's the one with them all lined up, and it's 3 pyramids in the background.
Yeah.
And the pyramids were going to be the Pillar Men. It was going to be this whole cool thing. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. One day. This is almost done. I'm now going to do this really fast, and then it'll be finished. So I'll just give the people a nice headshot. And if you want, you can follow me. That way you can see the finished piece.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be done a little later when I get some more time to finish it. And I am going to call that finished for now.
Wow. Wow.
We're going to call this done. as I continue working on it. But no, it's done. It's done.
But that's a perfectionist mentality, though. I mean, that's when, you know, I found that with any artist, like, oh no, I'm not done. I'm not done. Yep, I see something else.
Right. But no, we're gonna leave it here. We're gonna leave it here because you have to go, and I don't want to hold you anymore.
You're not holding me. You're not holding me. And hold on, zoom out one more time.
It's gonna look funky, half rendered, but yeah.
No, it don't. No, it don't. Oh yeah, that's amazing. That looks amazing. Well, Geek Corner members, I hope you guys enjoy this premiere of Mikayla. You can follow her at MKYNART on Instagram, and you can always click on that link tree under her bio and check out some of her art pieces and ask for commission, because this is the work that she done. And this from start to finish, and in her, you know, according to her, she is not totally finished. So she will post that on Instagram. And if you want a commission for it, that is if I don't get it first. Just saying. I'm pro Jace, so it might be coming to my house.
Next time I see you, this will be ready and I can send it to you. So it's no problem.
Yeah. And thank you once again for hanging out with the Geek Corner members and showing what you're able to do out there for the masses. And this won't be the last time. So you got anything else for the listeners out there, Mikayla?
Nothing more outside of, please don't tear this man apart for having me on here and saying some wild stuff.
No, not at all. Not at all. We need more honesty out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more authenticity. You know, you tried those things. You actually went out and looked at them and watched them, and you know, it just wasn't a blanketed statement. So can't really fault you for that.
Fair enough. I just know how people get really reactionary. So please don't eat this man up. Don't eat me up either. I don't have the time or patience to deal with anybody being crazy. So
yeah, you know, the nerd space is relentless out here. But I appreciate your hard work and dedication. Please continue to do what you do. And for the Geek Corner members, I hope you guys enjoy and reach out to Mikayla if you want some commissions. And until next time, y'all, peace.